Well, there you are again. Charlie Greer podcast. Again, I do this every day. Today, Cerveza Diablo. Muy bueno. Cerveza Diablo. Or should it be Cerveza Diablos? Plural. Beer Devil. That's what I say. I was actually called that. Cerveza Diablo. Actually, an old girlfriend. But, she's making fun. So, yeah, Cerveza Diablo. The Beer Devil. I mean, everybody likes beer, I think, right? I mean, I haven't had a beer in a few days. You know what? I might have a beer tonight. I'm gonna treat myself to a cerveza. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep on saying that. Cerveza Diablo. Um, and this is about I'm just gonna talk about beer, being in bands and beer. Uh, I to think about it, man. I mean, I was in my early 20s, but I would drink a 6 pack before I went on stage. Now, if I drink a 6 pack, I'd be blistered stupid. I mean, I can't, shit. Mm. Cheers. I'm drinking hot coffee, black hot coffee. So yeah, it would be. We called it the Soundcheck. Of course, we had beers at Soundcheck. Sometimes I wouldn't, depending on the 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 gig. We one time, uh, Amy from Mabel's, who ran Mabel's at the time, she, bless her heart, we had like a showcase. I think it was for like Polygram or Geffen or something like that, where they came in and A&R and a few hangers on, whatever, to like check out the band. And she's like, "Don't you be drinking." I mean, she was kind of motherly to me, kinda, So but she was just like, "Look, it's all business. Don't act stupid. Don't get wild. You guys try to stay sober." And I'm like, "Well, dude, that's our thing. Everything you just said not to do is what we're good at. It's what we are known for. If you want to go see some milk toast, no, you go to a 11-year gig because it's wild and you know shit might get. I mean, you just never know. I got my arm broken on stage, teeth busted out. I mean, we people meeting their wives and their kid, just girlfriend and just everything, getting jobs and this. It was the goings on. Um, so yeah, that. Of course, we're gonna push it even harder. So as soon as I get on stage, I think the intro started or whatever, and we do the song and what. But first, when I say hello to the band, it might have been like one or two songs. But I said, "Give me a beer." That's what I said, and everybody has reacted. And I'm looking behind the bar, and she's looking at me like, "You son of a." But they loved us anyways, you know. Again, she's probably right about not. Because later on that night, I was just talking to some dude that, and by then I already knew the game. I knew better enough to be like, "Oh, everybody think you want to get signed." Me too. I was like, "We're gonna get signed. We're gonna get signed. We're gonna get signed." And when you realize that, like, it's just a quarterly thing, and you gotta get in there. They stole. You're gonna take your name. You're not gonna, uh, basically, you're a tax write-off. Done known that. Figured that. Hey, had met enough bands to, Did we have management out of Chicago? I don't think we did. Maybe we did by then. I don't know. We eventually had management out of Chicago. Um, and that's another that you just don't, our manager, maybe this was Polygram. Anyway, we were playing at the Crowbar in Chicago, another showcase. And the A&R woman who showed up, turns out that she used to date our manager. She came home, found her sister and the manager in bed together. So when she showed up and found out our manager was him, she's like, "Oh no, nothing to do." And she loved us. They were devoted. They were like, "Oh my God, you guys are the next big thing in it." And I tried to beat up that manager that night. Like because it's like, this is totally out of our, trying to talk to her. Like, "Man, we didn't know. How do we know about your trifling sexual life, whatever shit?" Be professional. It's rock and roll. Of course, he fucked your sister. That's what. Come on. Like you haven't done something like that. Looking at her, I want to go tell everybody, and she did. Like, stay away from Love Engineer. These guys are, and that kind of adds to like the allure of like rock and roll. Man, you don't want that. You'd rather have them like on your music. It's cool to be like a dangerous rock and roll band, but man, you just can't be that. You can't be that, crazy and dangerous. My hair's gonna drive me crazy. I gotta cut my. But yeah, we would beer, cerveza. And then once we had management, we had a writer, if you want to call it that. We would want, it was like a case of beer. Usually there's a backstage area or somewhere you could hang out. We were drinking Miller Genuine Draft. For some reason, that had just came out or whatever. It's early 90s. And we're just like, that's what we're going to drink. Bottles we wanted. And of course, they're like, no bottle, because, they're going to be busted. And they're smart to do that. So it's canned. So they'd have that. And we'd have whatever. So we had, I think it was like a case of beer and maybe a fifth of Jack. And sometimes they'd get us pizza or Chinese food. Usually pizza. Sometimes we had a tab. They would let us drink, But we played in Bloomington, Illinois, one time, and maybe you guys will remember this place. But it looked like an old steakhouse. It looked like a big Ponderosa or something. Like it was. You could tell it used to be a restaurant, and it was pretty big, and it had a big backstage area for the band, and everybody, signs on the wall. It's just the thing. And we got there. So there's like 4 guys in Love Engineer, probably another 4 roadies, friends, girlfriends. So there might have been about 12 of us, maybe, that pulled up. Maybe more, 15. I don't know. Maybe less, maybe 10. I don't know. But so we, you Soundcheck, whatever. And we had like local bands opening for us. And by the time we went on stage, and they made a mistake of like, not only giving us stuff backstage, but we could go up to the bar and it's like, drinking like sailors on shore leave. Just, it was a good gig. Again, we were so loud. It was just a sonic boom. Then afterward, we did pretty good. So afterwards, we're going to the office to get the money, whatever. And they're like, man, you guys just broke the drinking record. And we're like, what are you talking about record? Like, this is this is no big deal. We're not trying to. They're like, well, who owned nuclear assault? Nuclear assault. You guys drink more nuclear assault. There was a bunch of those guys. And I was like, really? Like, success. And they took out money because even though we're like arguing, like, hey, you said, well, we didn't know that you're going to drink the bar dry. So we had like half the money we had to give to the bar. Cerveza Diablo, what are we going to do? We had a good time. The hangover probably was, oh, God. And get up and do it again the next night. Again, I was in my 20s. I could do that. Getting hit with beers. The worst, though, it knocked me out. Again, I was at Mabel's. That was kind of our mothership. Like, that was our home, the Club Mabel's, which was awesome. Miss Mabel's. Didn't know how spoiled I was till I went to other places like St. Louis. And when I got to LA, these places are small, man. The Viper Room is like a stamp. It's like playing, no. So I was spoiled at Mabel's. So at Mabel's, they had like the upstairs, and they had this little area. If you're on stage, it's up to like the left by the stairs. Dude threw a empty beer pitcher. Now, why? I don't know. I guess they're fans doing that. One of those plastic beer pitchers. Bam! Like hits me in the face, knocks me down, knocks me out for a quick. That. I'm like, here's another thing about stages. They always have this carpet. It's always wet with just like stale beer and God knows what. So I get up and this is all wet and I smell like, pickles. So I get it up and they're all pointing, and I took it and I threw it at him, and it flung off, and it hit like a neon beer sign. There were so many people below it, it probably killed a couple of people. It went whoop, and just kind of swung. It didn't fall. And again, people at the bar, I had to pay for that night, even though they'd got it for free. It was like a promotion from like, their distribution deal with like whatever Budweiser. You're gonna pay. I had to pay like a couple $100 for that, maybe $300. It's like, you got it for free. It doesn't matter. I ended up getting one of those. I used to have like a Budweiser neon sign. We eventually got a Budweiser, like, what is it called? Like a endorsement, which I thought was awesome. But the other local bands, again, this is like early 90s, shoegaze rock, grunge, no, corporate rock sucks. And people are like, oh, you guys are, you know what? Are you kidding me? They're going to show up. They're going to have a table. They're going to make our posters. All we had to put is like a little Budweiser badge. They made T-shirts for us for a while. And they only had to do is put like a Budweiser thing on the front or the back. Who gives a shit, man? I thought it was cool. Oh, people thought we were just, you're worse than. They brought beer, Budweiser girls, which I had a girlfriend at the time. But man, it's like that brings in your shit. Promotion, Bud Pub promotions. I think we had that for like a year. I loved it. Again, I think it was Bud Light. So we're like, oh shit, Bud Light. I mean, we're gonna need a lot of Bud Light then. We can just love those gigs. We played this frat bar on campus called Cam's, K-A-M, Cam. This place was just for like, I guess, rich college kids. It's just wild, and we're the one that they didn't let bands play there. We started a riot. Now, it wasn't just us. They just went crazy. And I swear this is true. They would have milk jugs hanging on like hooks. You just grabbed a jug and you went up and they'd fill it for like $5. That's all. There was no furniture. It was just open, And we played. They also, when the fight or whatever happened, they bum ups the stage. Budweiser might have been there because we'd gotten these boxes of like T-shirts and promotional stuff. And we'd put it behind the line, the back line, the amps, and it was stolen. I think my jacket got stolen, all kinds of shit. Awesome, because it was such a big thing and a big fuss. Even these other bands, they should be banned. They closed. Basically, I don't know if they closed down camp, but they wouldn't let bands play. I was like, man, we should use this. This could be national news. We could, no. Go see a band again. Some of these bands in Champaign, I might even like them a song or two, but their fucking attitude and this, that, and there was only like, again, the club looked kind of packed because it's the same 200 people that are the same kind of people. Where my daddy and they didn't really have any, their parents they're rich kids, man. Their gear they're playing with their parents bought for them. I remember making fun of these bands like, man, you're signed to a major label. Of course, your dad bought that for you, and the lawyer, he knows whatever. And you're playing the guitar your parents bought you. Are you shitting me? That ain't rock and roll, man. I mean, yeah, if you've got an old cool Les Paul your dad bought you or something like that, yeah, play it. But have enough, shit, have some game, have some kind of grit, a little patina. No. Huh? Just Rolling Stone said the same sentiment. They came to town. This is like early 90s, whatever it was. And they said the same thing. These bands, it's the same nepotist bullshit. They saw it right off the bat, the same people, because they went to different gigs, and it's the same. Of course, the club looks kind of packed because it's the same fucking people there. They're professors and their parents. That's another thing. All these professors and parents, they're like, man, parents. Yeah, have your parents come to a gig, but not like shit. You're gonna have no fun with a bunch of parents around. Come on. Don't you remember being young? And come on, man. I don't know, maybe it's me. But I also like, driving hungover from like fucking either Detroit or Milwaukee. Chicago wasn't that bad because it's just right down the road, hour and a half, 2 hours. Milwaukee's a pretty rough. So is Detroit. We got robbed. Okay, I shouldn't say robbed, but I'm not going to name names or whatever. But we played with God, what was that band? At the time, we were thinking about signing with a label called Relativity, and they had like reps in Chicago. So they would like, hey, go play with you know, I think it was Piss Factory. I think the band was named Piss, and they were cool. We became friends with them. We played gigs with these guys, and I think they're from New York. Anyway, we're playing in Milwaukee. It was a cool club, but it wasn't that big. I jumped and hit the roof. I accidentally hit I don't know if I jumped off the run right and busted my head. And then we, I mean, again, had some cerveza in me later on, and we were going to get paid. And then the manager for Piss Factory was like, man, this guy's a fucking asshole. He didn't pay us all our money. He's saying he's going to pay you guys. It's like, where's he at? We just went to the bathroom. So I go in there and I'm like, hey man, I'm Charlie. I didn't bum. Hey, you know, we just want to get we had a guarantee, you know, like it was something, it wasn't even that much, like $250 or something. This is on the road. If we were like local, we could make more, but like, hey, you know, we need to, you know, again, that's going to get us just back to, there's a bunch of us. And so I go in the bathroom and this dude, first time I've kind of really dealt with a guy like this, kind of sleazy. And he's like, oh, really? Get paid. Pardon me. He pulls out a wad of money. Obviously, we made that money. And a gun. Like, it wasn't that big of a gun. It was like he goes, what do you think I'm going to do? And I was just backing up, like, whoa, bro. Like, hey, it's just, fuck, $250. I could. And by then, the bathroom opened and they kind of got me out of there. Then we're in the parking lot. And all got our vans and whatever. And the manager of Piss Factory, she had dreads. She was super cool. She's like, hey, she gave us some money. She's like, look, here's enough to get you to. So we had management in Chicago. So we had a hotel room. This is the shittiest hotel room in Milwaukee or outside of Milwaukee. Just small, just horrible. Somebody sleeping in the bathtub kind of thing. 2 in a bed. And so the next day I got separated and I ended up alone in the van with all the gear. Everybody else took off and the other, whatever we had. And I didn't have that much money. They didn't give me, so there was toll roads to get through Wisconsin. So I'm paying tolls and shit. A tie rod busted. So I'm like, oh God, like I couldn't go that far, you know. I hate to say this, but I was running out of gas and I was damn near Kankakee, which is not that far from Champaign, but man, my car was like, and van full of gear, probably $10,000 worth of gear or more. Back then, that was a lot. Pull in, this is before you had to prepay, and maybe this is why I had to prepay. I pulled up, and this is the thing about stealing gas. If you're going to steal gas, just fill up, because you might have to, you're not going to do it, just do it once. And this van held a lot. It's like $40, $50. I mean, I had 2 tanks. I'm just filling it all up. And they're looking at me through the window like, man, this dude better come in here and pay. And, you know, I put hop in my car, go. Just, and there's drums falling, you know, just everything, Marshall amp. And they're coming out. See a guy in the window on the phone. And then it's like a frontage road. I'm like, shit, to get back on, I think it was 57 or whatever the highway is. And I'm going. And then here comes the cops. But there's a big median or like a dip. Like I thought they were going to turn around and get me because they could see like the brown van, crazy looking dude with long hair. Of course, it's me driving like a mate. Well, I couldn't go that fast. I was like, I had a tie rod busted. So, but I knew, so I knew they were coming. Here they come, and I'm like, man, they're just going to do that overpass, and they're going to catch me. So when I did the curve, when I saw they can see it, I got off. I might have been at Kankakee by then, and I knew I'd played Kankakee. I was like, man, I could back road it through to Rantoul, which is like it used to be. There was a military base there, like an Air Force base, and then take the back roads to Champaign because Rantoul is like right near Champaign, and that's what I did. I cut across, over, down, and you know, again, Cerveza Diablo, like drinking beer and acting stupid. And I got home, I was pissed. Oh, before I forgot to mention, I stopped in Chicago. I was calling the offices of our, just getting messages. I'm, bro, man, we didn't get paid. I need to get a little bit of advance money to get me home. And it never heard before cell phones. And it might have been a weekend. I get it, but I thought that I couldn't get a hold of anybody. And I was mad at the band. Like, where did you guys go? Like, well, that's it. Actually, great times, though. I mean, yeah, if you drink too much beer, you're going to turn into the Diablo. And I'd have sober gigs. I mean, you can't always, or hungover gigs. Again, there's always Jaeger. Like, I knew better, and I just knew my gut and stuff. I tried to stay. Of course, I would take a shot. People were buying you shots, like just lined up on stage. Just you're gonna. It was tough. It was tough to be able to just not become an alcoholic. Basically, I mean, we would. You're given a case of beer. What are you going to do? Drink it. That's what you're going to do. Give it out to friends. We get in trouble. So we were like playing in Chicago one time, and they brought us the beer, and we had a merch table. So we had like CDs and T-shirts, and we were like, if you buy a CD, you get a free beer. Oh no, the bar was like, you can't be doing that. Like, you're breaking every kind. I'll lose my liquor license. That's that shit. Shut it down. And the strange thing about that story, when they came over and gave us shit, I was hanging out with Jim Ellison from Material Issue, who at the time was one of my favorite bands, if not the favorite band. We're totally different bands. And he was more of like a club rock guy. Like, I didn't ever hung him personally, but he'd come to our gigs. I'd go to there, and we'd be like, hey, I saw him at Tritos Uptown. There was another club in Champaign on Green Street, like 89, maybe 90, maybe 89, sneaking up in there, seeing Material Issue. But Jim and people would talk shit about him. Like, oh, he's an asshole. Dude, he was solid to me. And we were totally different band. He's a pop band. We're like a heavy band. We were like band friends. And the first time I met him, he followed me in the bathroom after I played. He's like, oh, I love your band. I'm like, dude, we're listening to your tape in the fucking van. So he was at the merch table. We're hanging out drinking beers. And he was like, oh, come on. We were... He was cool, man. He had a leather jacket. He looked tall. I mean, I'm 6'2". He's taller than me, skinny, like looked like a rock dude. Kind of preppy looking. Super cool. And he'd walk on and be like, that son of a bitch. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is everybody talking about Jim for? Like, he's just not. Unfortunately, he's passed. God bless Jim. Cerveza Diablo. It's just drinking and having fun. Good times. But everybody's trying to stick a cerveza, in your face. Just like, what the shit? Come on, man. There'd be times I'd go out and be with my girlfriend or something, kind of mellow, and just like, no, yeah, go. No, my liver. We're lucky to be alive, quite honestly. Just and the driving, that's one thing I don't miss. Just here and there, and because I had a job. I worked at Champagne Surplus, and they were cool for a while, letting me go for gig. But after a while, it was like I wasn't there. And they're like, dude, if you're not here, you don't have a job. I mean, you've been gone. So technically, getting quit, and they didn't really fire me. It's just that I had gigs. It's like, okay, I got I know I'm supposed to work, but man, I got like 3 or 4 gigs in a row. I can't. Well, we got the schedule, Charles. You can't be. Oh, well, but yeah, I was working at Champagne Surplus, so it was like 9 to 5, something like that. My shift was get off, go home, eat, shower, whatever, head to the band house, and then take off. Because after around the last couple of years in Love Engineer, we were playing more out of town. We would play again. We weren't on tour, We're playing everywhere you could think of, like just every kind of town in Illinois. Basically, we stayed in Illinois. We get to like Indiana and Michigan and Wisconsin, but we mostly this like region of central Illinois. Every town, just road dogging it, man. Do the gig, come home. It'd be like 3 or 4 in the morning. Sleep a little bit, get up and go to work. Like I had 2 jobs: the surplus store and the band. And it would drive me crazy. People like, oh, he's lazy. Lazy? Your trifling ass don't do shit. I'm going to school and I got that shit. Come on, man. That's when you know. That's sometimes what happened to me in LA. People think like, oh, I call him lazy. When you're working 10 times as hard as anybody they've ever worked. That's probably why I'm the condition I am now, because I was just go, just constantly. Sometimes it'd just be like, I would fall out. Like there's been times where, or I'd sleep at Soundcheck, like on the floor at Mabel's or wherever. Like, who's he? Well, he's the singer in the band. Because I'm so tired. I was just beaten down. I wasn't rich. I had no people support. In LA, it's harder to get free drinks, but like my favorite place to play was Mr. T's Bowl, which is in Highland Park. And this is before it kind of got changed hands and everything. And I like Mr. T and his wife. They would give my band a 6-pack each, like when I played there. That's not that much, but it's like, oh, and other bands would find out, where we gonna, because you know what? I'm headlining this gig. Who are you guys? One guy came up and like bitched at our merch table. It wasn't even a merch table, it was a table. I just had my last CD out, Turn Me On Dead Man. They didn't have any t-shirts, it's selling CDs. And he unfortunately came up complaining. Okay, let me back up. Before, he was begging to play. Oh, I want to, please help me. We put him on the gig. And then he's demanding he should be, bro, you got to make enough to buy a 6-pack, basically. Come on, shit. And I was I was with some people and my girlfriend at the time. You didn't want to, they'll strike. People were protective of me. And I played, oh, cool, young buck, it's all good. No. And then Mr. T somehow, scolded, and he said that's Charlie makes money. He sells my, where the fuck are you? Let him play. And I was like, no, I get it. I drive, maybe going to take him somewhere. Sorry. It'd blow my mind that like people would like I don't keep up with things. And so by the time I moved to LA in 94, I quit Love Engineer like 90. I moved to LA in 98. I quit Love Engineer, moved from Champaign in 94 to move to St. Louis. So I was in St. Louis for 4 years. And then they booked gigs for damn near a year. So actually Love Engineer went into 95. Even though we were broken up, I still had, unless we were going to pay so I had to do probably 20 gigs, but they were sporadic. It's even worse because I had to drive from St. Louis to Champaign to the band house, and we take off to Terre Haute, Indiana, or where the hell we're going. And so by the time I got to LA, I hadn't even been in a technical. I'd started some bands in St. Louis and put them together. They'd fall apart. Never even played. But I was playing in Love Engineer, trying to put a side thing together. So by the time I got to LA, I'd basically been out of the scene, if you want to call it that, for like 4 years. Get to LA, Charlie from Love Engineer. They know people like, what? They remember, oh, shit. Oh, you cut your hair? Huh? That's how I got it. I was going to just do my acting and my screenplays and stuff. My screenplays had won some shit, and I was making a little money acting. And my roommate at the time was like, "You're Charlie, you got to." He put an ad in the Recycler that, in turn, Sean from the Asexuals showed up, and him and I formed a band like that night. And I kind of fired my roommate and the other guy I started. They were pissed, but we're still friends. It's all good. real good, respected. I didn't think I mean, hell, if I'd have known that, I'd have went to LA long before that. Long before that. And by then I'd auditioned for some bands, bigger bands, just trying to make some money. But then I'm like, dude, I want to cash in. I've been doing this for how many years? Like I've been gigging since I was 15. I again, when you're first, not big gig, it's shitty. But my first gig was at like the Watertown Fair, like a big gig. Just trying to hillbillies and your family playing covers. Don't tell me you love me. It's good times. Awesome. Mr. Crowley covers. Shitty cover, just sounded nothing like the song. Doing your own version, I guess we'd call it. It's our version of the song. Okay. At least I got to live that life. See, I've always wanted to have experiences instead of things. See, you got a thing, it's worth whatever. It might fall over and scratch it. Now it's, oh my God, you're worried about that and pissed that it's broke or what. No, shit, it's worth 3,000, not anymore. I'd rather have experiences. A lot of people are like that. Again, I have things, but I'd rather live life and have these memories than just concentrate on something that you're going to worry about, man. Don't need that. Don't want to. I mean, I got guitars. I mean, that's all I really give a shit about. As far as like, things. I care about a lot of other stuff, but wasn't interested in, no. Because I'll get it anyway. Shit. I ain't hurting from anything. Even at the lowest, I've still got shit going on. Cerveza Diablo, or Diablos, plural. Yeah, I might have a beer. If not tonight, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? I'm supposed to go to the lake. Some friends, we're going to go to the lake. We'll see. I love y'all. Time for me to run. Again, I do this every day. Every day. God will, the creek don't rise. I'll be here. So see you tomorrow. Love y'all. Be blessed. Cheers.